Hi, I'm Caro, Training and Membership at Eurodesk Brussels Link, and today with amazing people and my colleagues, we are going to talk with you about European youth opportunities, programs which are allowing you to study, travel, volunteering abroad, and much, much more. Right now, let me pass the microphone to Stefanos.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining. My name is Stefanos. I'm the communication officer of Eurodesk Brussels Link. And basically I will take this next 2-3 minutes to introduce to you Time to Move in case you are not aware and how you can get involved in the Time to Move campaign. So very briefly, Time to Move is our annual campaign that we do at Eurodesk. It takes place every year in October, and every year the Eurodesk network, they organize hundreds of events regarding the opportunities to go abroad. And I will very, very quickly share my screen that I can give you a visual look on the different elements of Time to Move. We have a dedicated website of Time to Move. And what is the essence of Time to Move is the events that are taking place around Europe. So you can check out our map, the interactive map, and find events close to you in your country, in your town, in your city. And you can check all the information, and hopefully you can attend the events and learn more about all the opportunities that you can participate in. But apart from the events, we also have some competitions. If you feel a bit competitive and if you want to win some cool prizes. So the first competition is the T-shirt design contest. So here we ask you to create and design for T-shirt on the theme of Time to Move. So it's a very, very broad theme. And then you upload your design in the platform. And we have several prizes for the winners. So for the public voting winners, we will give ISPAC luggages to them. And then to the Eurodesk winners, we will give either an ISPAC suitcase, a Polaroid camera, or an Interrail pass. So very, very cool prizes. So if you feel like that you have designing skills, illustration skills, graphic design skills, feel free to participate in our competition. The competition will run until the end of October, so you still have some time to participate. And then if you are active on social media and you still want to win some Eurodesk merchandise, such as t-shirts, water bottles, notebooks, and so on, we have a social media challenge going on Instagram and on TikTok. So it's very, very simple. You can record a video of yourself in two parts. First, at home or in your bed, feeling bored. And then the second part, being outside, doing something that you like. It can be traveling, it can be anything you want. And every week we select one or two winners and we send them Eurodesk merchandise. So yeah, feel free to participate. The only restriction is that you need to add the hashtag Time to Move 2023 so we can track your entry. And apart from that, feel free to check out the rest of the website. We have some online escape games that you can play with your friends. We have our weekly podcast going on that you can learn, more about different themes on going abroad, such as volunteerism, mental health and going abroad, or green mobility, and so on. So yeah, feel free to check the website and participate in our competition and in the events. And now back to you, Caro.
Wow. Okay. Now I have few questions. So competition for the t-shirt design, where we can win this amazing prizes. Are there any age restrictions?
There are some age restrictions to be above 13 to 30 years old. So it's yeah, so more people can participate.
So if I understood correctly, we have like two different age categories, right? 13-18 and 18-30?
No, there is only one category for this year competition. And
Okay.
this year we are giving more prizes. So we have a lot of things to give. So
Okay.
we need participants.
Okay, so everybody in the room, if you are under 30, you can show us your skills and you can upload your t-shirt design. That's great. And what about the social media challenge? Do you have any age restrictions there?
We don't have any age restriction. If you use social media, if you use Instagram, if you use TikTok, and if you are active and if you want to post a video of yourself, you are more than welcome to do so.
Amazing. So as you can see already, we are starting presenting for you first opportunities. Some are having age restrictions, some don't. So don't forget to check our website Time to Move campaign after this webinar. That was our introduction. What's going to happen next? Now I would like to invite my colleague, Grazia, who will present to you Eurodesk Opportunity Finder. So one of the websites where you can find a number of different opportunities. And she will tell us what we can find there. After Grazia's presentation, we prepare some competition for you with very interesting prizes as well. So we will check if you got some information from Grazia's presentation. And of course, you can win some interesting prizes. So this is where we are going to start. After a Kahoot competition, we have in the room with us some experts, some people who already took part in different opportunities, who participate in volunteering projects or organize solidarity projects or are organizers work camps, who participate in Erasmus Plus program or did internship in the European institutions. So they are here to answer your questions, to tell you how and why and who, and much more. And we are going to talk with them after our short presentation. In the end, you will have opportunity to visit different breakout rooms and ask extra questions or get some extra informations in smaller groups. So I'm not taking much more time. I'm passing mic to Grazia. Grazia,
hi.
Show us opportunities.
Thank you, Caro. Thanks a lot. Hi, I'm Grazia from Eurodesk Brussels Link. I can see some nice people and some faces that I know. Hi, it's nice to see you. Ciao, ciao, nice. Yes, I'm very happy to be here with you. And your questions, and the questions and the answers, I saw a lot of opportunities. This is something very common for my work, my daily work. You know, I'm in charge of the information here at Eurodesk Brussels Link, and mainly of the Eurodesk Opportunity Finder. This is really a tool that can help you to find the opportunities that you are looking for. Or at least we aim to provide you with opportunities, with a wide range of opportunities for young people and for youth workers as well, for opportunities in Europe and beyond. So this tool is very easy and accessible. Stefanos, I don't know if you want to share, to show them. You can access it via our website, or you can just go on this website called programs.eurodesk.eu. And from there, you will find a list of programs organized in 5 main categories. So you will have programs in the field of learning, volunteering, on internships, on projects where you can get involved, so the participating. And then you have also grants, because you can also look for projects, so look for funding for youth-led projects. The idea of the Opportunity Finder is really to make sure that this information is always available and easy to access. So what we do, we monitor the information, we look for these programs, we reorganize the content, we make sure that is really provided and given to you in a youth-friendly way. And when you click on a program, for example, if you go wherever, you can find a summary of the program. So what is this program? Who can apply? What you need to do in order to apply? And the exact deadline where when you need to fill the application. Of course, as we have a lot of programs, you can also make your search. You can do it by filtering the information. So you can filter the age group, or the eligible country, or the destination, or the topic. You know, it's up to you how you look for it. As you can see, there are some different colors on the top. So the vibrant colors with a date, it means that the program is active. We also have programs that where the deadline has passed, but the idea is not to hide these programs, because mainly the majority of these programs are recurring. So in a few time, you might have a new call. So in this way, you can start preparing for the project, for the future call. So that's why we keep them still on the website. What kind of information you find? Under the learning category, you can find online training, mock, you can find project for studying in another countries, scholarships, different kind of scholarships. If you go in the volunteering, you will find information on the different volunteering projects, programs. We have the European Solidarity Corps, of course, and then other volunteering projects like the United Nations, and some others. You can find workcamps. You can also find woofing. So it's really broadened. It's really up to you. We try to find what is interested for you. It's very difficult for the volunteering, because we also find a lot of information where participants need to pay. So one of the key principles of Eurodesk is really to make sure that all the programs available on our Opportunity Finder are free, and where you can participate either with a scholarship, or you receive a fund, or if there is a fee, it's really a minimum fee. It's really a small one that can still allow you to participate. In the internships, you have a lot of internships or traineeships, mainly in the institutions or NGOs, or some foundations as well, international organizations. All the internships are paid. You won't find unpaid internships in our section. In the participating section, you can find all projects, competition, contest, or prizes where you can participate alone or in a group. And then, of course, we go back to the grants, where you can ask for a grant. Recently, we just had the new call for the Creative Europe, like for individual mobility, which is quite Creative Moves Europe. So if you are an artist and you would like to take part in a project, an artistic project in another country, this is the time to look for it and see how to participate. It's all from my side. All this information is also shared with you thanks to Stefanos through the social media, but also on our youth letter, which is a youth letter really where you can subscribe on our website, from our website. And there you can find each month a call for activities and projects. So if you miss any opportunity from our opportunity finder, you will find it each month by subscribing in our youth letter. It's all from my side. I don't know if you have any questions. Well, the difference, there's a question in the chat. What is the difference between Eurodesk Opportunity Finder and, for example, Salto? Salto is mainly on trainings. It's not providing opportunities related to studying in another country or volunteering, or it's really for youth workers. It's not really for young people. In the Opportunity Finder, the target is mainly young people and youth workers, of course, for some aspects. But here we really try to answer the questions that we usually receive through our channels in the European Youth Portal. So we really try to provide information and opportunities, programs for young people to participate and to be active citizens. So Salto, it's mainly for youth workers and for trainings for youth workers. It's really a professional development for youth workers.
Do we have more questions?
Yeah, sure. If you, of course, you can. The programs are not really linked. So I'm currently an Erasmus Plus volunteer in Poland. Can I apply for an internship after my project is completed without paying any fee? Yes, you can, because you mean you want to do a traineeship within the Erasmus or another traineeship? Because but in both cases you can apply. If you look on the traineeships on our section, you can apply. They're open. Only if you already did an internship or traineeships within an institution, you cannot do another traineeship within another institution or agency. So you can only did it once.
I see that there's one more question.
Yes, can you please give more information about traineeship for recent graduate? Well, you need to check. I don't have them all by heart. So what is in the system? It's for each traineeship you can find all the information. So in each traineeship summary, you can find what you need to have in order to apply. And we really have a broad, really a lot of them. So it's really up to you. It depends from one internship to another, from one institution or from one organization to another. So really, you need to look, and it depends also where you want to go, with which organization. So it's really, everything is written there. So
thank you, Grazia. You will still have opportunity to ask some questions today during this webinar. We have in the room some experts as well who are going to present for us very specific programs like work camps, work and travel, Erasmus Plus program. We have Europeers with us. We have experts in the topics of European Solidarity projects, as well as internships in the European institutions. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to introduce to you our experts, contributors, and people who are here to share with you their experience, to tell you a bit more about some specific program and opportunities. So let me start with inviting to the mic Laura and Greta, who are going to tell us a bit more about Europeers. So who are Europeers, Laura, Greta? Let's start there.
Yeah, hi from us as well. Greta is also here, and we also prepared a small presentation. So if we could share the screen, Greta, maybe you can do that.
Yep, I will do that.
Alrighty. But as some of you have also participated already in Erasmus Plus youth programs or European Solidarity Corps, then you are in the right place. And also those who haven't yet participated, you are also in the right place. So it's a really win-win situation here. But me and Greta are part of the Europeers network. I'm the coordinator from Estonia, and Greta is one of the Europeers. And Europeers is an international network for young people who have participated in the programs. So when you get some ideas from here, go abroad and come back, then you can join the Europeers section. And most of the young people are from the age of 13 until 30, as it's the same for Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps. So that's the way why we are approaching young people in a certain age. After that, you are not too old, definitely, but there are different flexibilities in different countries. So you should contact your own country to see if you are still in the age range to be part of Europeers. Now I will give the floor to Greta.
Okay, great. Wait, I will try to. Oops. So right now there are currently 12 active countries in the Europeans network. So there are Austria, Belgium, the German side, and the French side, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Italy, Latvia, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, and Romania. And then there are also 3 countries who are like kind of in the waiting list. So Spain, Sweden, and Slovakia. About that, the information will come out next year probably. So if you're any of those countries, we are really waiting for you to join with us. Yeah, the activities what we usually do as Europeers are like school visits where we do like informational lessons to students, what is the Erasmus Plus program and European Solidarity Corps and all the other things related to Erasmus. Then we also have in our network like training courses, international or in the national level.
Yeah, and as I started with who are the Europeers, then as I already mentioned, different countries are really different. It depends on the country you're from. And I like to think about Europeers as a platform to share your own experience. And then the Europeers network is supporting you to share your own experience. You don't have to be like super, I don't know, educated, super good at a lot of things. You just need to have the experience. So I think it's a great starting point to go somewhere. But in Estonia, we have a new way to approach young people. We are trying to find new, if there are any Estonians who are interested in this kind of opportunity, then in January, we are opening a new call for Europeers, and then the Europeers are joining the national agency and the Europeers for a year. And they have to write the motivational letter, also fill in a form, like you do when you go on a training or for a youth exchange, and you need to express what are you waiting from the network or from the project. And then you are, if you are selected, then you are part of the Europeans network. Also, it is great to have some experience. You can also go for an international training already before, or even when you are starting as a European in Estonia, and so on. And Greta now will share how is the system in Austria, for example.
So in Austria, it's also like a bit different than Estonia. As mentioned before, it's different in all like the countries. For example, in Austria, there's like the volunteer coming back events, and then we like basically share the experiences there. And sometimes also from like we have, for example, like a garbage collecting event, or we just had like a hiking in the forest. Very good. Also like get to know a bit more how to join, but mostly it's from the volunteers coming back events. And how can you find more information about us? We have an Instagram account, europeers.eu. We have Facebook, Europeers International, which isn't that active anymore, but it still exists. And then we also have a website.
And I think for the starting point to join Europeers, the website is actually the best place to start. We actually launched it like few months ago, so it's not too active yet, but we are starting to get it in for the national agencies and for the youth to use. But here is the basic information you actually need for the understanding of the Europeers.
Yeah, there's like different kinds of events what you can find, stories about being a Europeer or just like about events, some contacts like where you can also like, we have this map where you can find the people who are Europeers, so you can write to them and, for example, ask them to come to talk to in your school and so on. So like under Find Europeers, and then we also have about like what is Europeers, how can I be involved, and so on. And that's all from our side, I guess. So thank you for listening. And we are waiting later for your questions in the breakout rooms, if I'm not wrong.
So before I will check with our participants if there are any questions right now, I have one. So you explain us where we can find information. You told us who can become the Europeer, what are the age limitations as well. But when you are saying that if you have any experience with the opportunities, which opportunities you have in your mind?
The opportunities we are talking about are mostly Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps opportunities. But maybe if it's somehow connected, like an internship or somehow related to Europe level, then it's also negotiable. It means that, again, I would suggest you to actually contact your national coordinator where you could get exact information, what are they waiting for from you to actually join the network. So it might be different for countries, but we are quite flexible because we are really open for young people to join the network. It's really awesome.
Super, thank you so much for clarification. Any question right now? No, looks like all the information were very clear. Thank you so much for sharing with us, and it's great that after taking part in Erasmus Plus programs or Solidarity Corps volunteering, you don't have to stop there. You can share your experience with the others, and you can motivate others to try it as well. So sounds like really great and encouraging network. Cannot wait to check more information about that. And speaking of Erasmus Plus program, we have with us some people who actually took part in a few Erasmus Plus projects. So Amalia, you are with us. I know that you are on the waiting list to become Europeer officially.
I am, yeah, that's correct.
Could you tell us what was your first experience with Erasmus Plus project, or maybe the best project which stuck in your mind?
Oh, wow. That's a very hard question because my journey started with EACEA and then it became Erasmus Plus, I guess. But I participated in a project in Hungary, which was life-changing, literally. And after this, I'm like, okay, I need to get everybody to do something like this. So that is the best one and the most exciting one I've done. And yeah, like having that opportunity that it's there, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Why this project was life-changing? What was the project about? What happened there?
It was a project or like a training, actually, a bit more about emotional intelligence. So it was very deep and touching, and we really became a family, this group of people that were there. And like I never experienced that type of a connection that fast in a group before. So it was really like something that also spoke to me, something I was interested in, something I wanted to do. And really like nicely organized. which was amazing. And that's the beautiful part of Erasmus Plus as well, that there is literally something for everybody. Like you chose to go to where you want to go and about a topic that you enjoy. Yeah.
And where usually are you finding project opportunities? What is your way to find opportunities?
This is such a funny question to ask me, because for me, the easiest way is that I know a lot of people that know a lot of things, which means that they can send it to me and be like, this, you should check this out. But we have also a lot of different places to find things. Like Gracia has already told us about the Opportunity Finder. We have the youth portal. So there are a lot of different places to actually find these kind of experiences to go to.
Mm-hmm. You can also check the different youth organization websites, right? Quite often they also share calls for participants.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And the question which sometimes we have in our minds where we are about to apply for the new project is if my English is good enough. What is your answer for this fear which some young people may have if they are applying for the first time and they are afraid that maybe my English is not good enough? Do you think they still can take part in the project?
Definitely. Like really, the level of English is like, it varies so much, and we are human. We learn to understand each other. Like the language is not the biggest part of our understanding. It's how we read each other's emotions and everything like this. And honestly, like in this kind of a community that I want to call it, we are a community. You are there for each other and there's no judgment in it, and really like you understand and you want to understand. So this fear, I know it's there, but really it shouldn't be, because everybody's so supporting about everybody and everything that we do. So try it and go. And usually the English is better than you think. Like I hear a lot of times like, oh, sorry, my English is very bad. And they speak amazingly English and everybody understands it anyways. So usually you're better than you think.
Perfect. So it sounds like everybody can apply.
Yeah,
and
basically.
Erasmus Plus can be really life-changing experience for you.
Yeah, really.
So thank you, Amelia, for very short introduction. Do we have any questions from our participants? I know that a lot of people are pretty familiar with Erasmus Plus program. Let me just check if you would like to ask something before we will move on. Okay, I think they are keeping questions for the breakout room. Thank you so much. So now, before he will disappear, we have Sebastian with us, and Seb is here to tell you a few sentences and few thoughts about his experience with work and travel.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we do. So
Yes,
what
okay.
is work and travel? Where you can find the project and how you decided to check this opportunity?
Yeah, well, hello everyone. So basically I did my Erasmus Plus during my studies in bachelor, and then I did a European Solidarity Corps, and I was kind of hooked by all of this idea of, oh, I can live abroad and work and all of this. So basically I started to check which websites are there, what opportunities are there for those of us who maybe don't really need to find the job of our lives, but simply want to experience something else. So there are three main websites that you can use. If I can share my screen, I don't know. Yeah, I can. This is the first one. It's called Goof. Probably some of you know it. Basically, this website allows you to find different hosts or organizations, usually families, all around the globe, or at least in these countries, and you can go there. So, for example, I did this in France. So imagine I wanted to go to France, so I went to the French website because I wanted to learn French. So you can find the different stories of the host. You can hear some feedbacks, stories, etc. And then they have a list of hosts here. So you can choose the host or the place in France that you like the most. I knew I wanted to go to the north, so I went here, but you can choose. Some of them can host one volunteer, one person. Some others can host up to 5. It depends. What I recommend you to do is before choosing anything, just send them an email. Hey, I'm very interested in your profile. Could we have a video call or something similar so we get to know each other? What do you expect from me and what do you expect from you? Most of the time, you just work part-time, so you work maybe 5 hours a day, and the rest of the time is free. So you can go to French classes, for example, or you can just go and do some tourism or do whatever you want. I had a great experience. I was 6 months in France and I really like it. Then we have, of course, the classic au pair. So in au pair, you go to a family and 99% of the time you are taking care of their kids. It can be really small kids, like between 1 and 2 years old. It can be kids around 10, 12. It usually depends on the family, depends what you're looking for. Yeah, of course, you can register as a family or as a candidate. And if you look at an au pair, you can find your host family. Au pair is more professional, I will say. For example, in Woofing, in this one, you don't get paid. Everything is covered, so your accommodation is covered and your food is covered, but usually you don't get paid. Whereas in the au pair, you get paid. So the family will pay you, but in return, they expect you to work more. So usually if you're an au pair, you will be working around 8 hours a day. You will be living with the family and you will get paid, but they expect as well you to be more professional and mostly they expect you to be there. Why? Because in the au pair section, they usually require someone with a language skill. So for example, if I'm a family in England, I want someone from Spain, so that person can teach Spanish to my kids. So it's how it works. You become kind of like a personal language teacher for the family. And they usually have a minimum period of time, around 6 to 1 year. 6 months to 1 year is the minimum period. Whereas in Woofing, it's very seasonal and you can choose. Sometimes it's 1 month, sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's just a week. It really depends. And the last one is called Workaway. This website, it works the same way as the other two. You can find your host, you can send them emails, your accommodation is covered, and it's a mix between the two. So sometimes you are working with kids and families, sometimes you're in a farm. So you can do as many things as you can imagine. It works again in the whole world. Sometimes you get paid, sometimes no, but for sure accommodation is covered. And yes, you can find a house and you can find anything you want to do. You can go to families, you can go to hostels, anywhere. And that's it, basically. Then I also recommend you, if you want to volunteer somewhere, to check the country you want to go or opportunities. You can do it that like in Google. And I know several countries in the European Union and the UK, they offer volunteering in the mountains. So for example, in Switzerland, you can volunteer to stay in one of these farms on top of a mountain in the Swiss Alps, for example. And basically your job is to take care of the cows and the sheep and the hostel. But there is not a website for that. You have to really look for it because sometimes you have to contact the local council or something like this. And that's all for my part, I think.
Wow, thank you so much for also if you could share with us in the chat all 3 links, I would really appreciate it. And Seb, you mentioned that these opportunities, they provide you with accommodation. They provide you with food. In some of them, you are getting payments as well. In some not. Are there any costs of the participation?
So usually no, and some of the website can ask you for a small fee in order to register. So for example, you in Woofing is the website I use to go to France. You needed to pay, I think it was 10 euros in order to contact the family. So you can see the whole information of the family, you can see everything, all the reviews, you can see absolutely everything, but not the contact information. If you want to contact them, you need to pay. But it's usually around 10 euros per year. So I think I would say it's quite a good price.
Okay, thank you so much, Seb. And if we don't have questions, thank you for sharing with us your experience. Thank you for sharing with us the links. And see you soon, Seb.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. Ciao, people.
Staying in the topic of working and volunteering. Now I would like to invite Bogumiła. Bogumiła, can you tell us a bit more about work camps?
Hi there, everyone. I'm very happy to be here today. I would like to tell you a little bit more about short-term volunteering projects. I'm a volunteer and a board member of SCI, Service Civil International. Maybe in your residence country or home country, you have the branch of SCI, or there are partner organizations that you can also join our work camps. These are short-term projects from 7 days up to 12 days, 14 days, where different people from different countries all around the world can meet and experience different adventures in a local community. So the idea of the work camp basically is that there is a local need. For example, helping rebuilding a castle, or helping rebuilding a center, or playing with the children that are less privileged to go on holidays, or any other social community need that the local volunteers can meet and contribute, which is basically about 10 people or 20 people, depending on the work camp. And you can go to countries based in Europe, you can go to countries based all over the world. And the thing is that the only cost that you cover are the costs of traveling. The rest, accommodation and the food is prepared for you by the host organization or by the host in general. So if you're open, if you speak some English, doesn't have to be perfect. If you are willing to devote your time for 7 days up to 2 weeks and experience something new, something that doesn't require any skills, but just open heart and open mind, you can join our work camps, and we'll share it in the chat, the search engine for the work camps, and also the website. Also, there's a video where you can see how it works and what it's based on. So anyone interested in short-term projects that usually run from March until October, but there are a few right now as well going on, please see you in the breakout room. Thank you.
And what about the age? Are there any age restrictions? Who can take part in the work camps?
So in general, our work camps are open from 18 until as long as you want, but there are some that are also open for people from 16 years old. So if you have friends that are 16 and they want to have this valuable experience, please recommend that to them, because it's also possible. But usually most of them are from 18 up.
And if I'm correct, you can also find the projects where you can go as a whole family, right?
There are projects that you can go as a whole family. There are projects that you can come with your child. It depends how you see it. And usually they are marked as family-friendly projects. Also, there's a range of projects for people with different discapacities. The work camps are adjusted to accommodate and to host people with different discapacities.
Okay, so you already started talking about local needs and making changes, contributing for the local environment as well. And here we have with us today Alex, and Alex will tell us what are the opportunities if you see that there is a need in your local environment, that something doesn't work and you would like to change something.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Really, really nice to see all of you. Because we're in time to move campaign, we're not moving this time abroad or something, but we're moving things in our local community through the European Solidarity Corps Solidarity Project. I think this is the least known opportunity out of all of them, but it's a really, really nice one. Basically, what can I say about it? You just need 5 crazy people together with you, aged between 18 and 30 years old, and just have a crazy idea. You have to start by just observing around you what is happening at your school, in your neighborhood, in your town. If you see that there is a need for something to be changed, I don't know, there's a lot of ideas. For example, I don't know, maybe you live by the beach and you see that there's a lot of garbage on the beach and you just want to do a cleaning activity. Or maybe your friends are really passionate about sports, but you don't really have the space to do it. So there's another need. And through the European Solidarity Corps, you can access some funding to create these changes in your local community. So, yeah.
And what was your project? What was the need which you saw around you, around your organization?
So for this, I have a presentation, and I will kindly share my screen. So I forgot to mention, but I'm working at a youth organization called FIT from Romania. And we are having a lot of solidarity projects, actually, which some of them came from the ideas of our youth workers, but also we had a lot of volunteers that just came up with ideas and had our support in doing their solidarity projects. And as I wrote there, you just have to put your mind and your heart to it, because you really have to feel these kinds of projects in order for them to really work well and have an impact in your local community. And I will share with you some of our successful projects. The first one was called Voice of the Youngsters, through which we tried to raise awareness in the political scene. So we shared some nice messages with the politicians on t-shirts, mugs, and tote bags, which they shared in their social medias in order just to make our young people's voices heard. So for example, what is written on one of these t-shirts is that young people can also change the country. And this one is about for a happy life, consume daily a portion of volunteering. Yeah, and it was a really nice project. This was the idea of our team, and we just applied five of us to the national agency, because this is how you apply for such a project, and it got accepted, and we just started implementing it. The projects have to be between 2 and 12 months. And it's something really, really easy to plan and also to implement. Another one was this VR bullying, which was an idea of some of our volunteers. They realized that there's this problem with bullying in schools. So they just wrote this project about virtual reality bullying, in which they created some animations through virtual reality and went in schools with them in order to make the other colleagues, the other students in our town, to see through virtual reality how it feels to be bullied, but also how it feels to bully. So there was this dual perceptive from it. And it was another solidarity project that came out really, really nice. Here you can see some pictures. Another one was Photo Voice in Timișoara, which is the city we're located in. This was a project from our photographer, Lorena, which is here in the photos. She saw that there are a lot of passionate people about photography in Timișoara, and she decided to do these projects about Photo Voice to help them cope with their mental health problems, especially because it was right after the COVID-19 pandemic. And she thought that photography can be also a really nice thing to use in order to adjust their mental health and to share their stories through photographies. So yeah, we just had like a training and in which they learned about this method of photo voice and some products, some photographies that they took. And the last one was the art camp. We created an art camp for young people in our community in order for them just to express their feelings and to express everything they want through art. And there were there was 1 week of this, but of course it required a lot of planning before. And young people just learned how to digitally draw, for example, or how to print visuals on t-shirts and tote bags using a special method. They also did some pottery, theater, dancing, and yeah, these are kind of the best projects, solidarity projects that we had during last year.
Wow, so looks like you don't have to leave your city, you don't have to travel abroad in order to take part in amazing projects as well and learn something about you, but also make changes in your local realities.
Yes, but through these you can also meet a lot of international people as well, because you don't really have to have an organization behind. I mean, you don't have to have an organization on your own, but it is recommended to have an organization behind you that can help you implement these projects. There are also a lot of national courses. You just have to check the website of your national agency for Erasmus Plus and see if they have maybe some courses, maybe some trainings on how to write this project, or just see in your local community what organizations, youth organizations you have, and they will definitely help you.
Super. Thank you so much for sharing with us
and
showing us this inspiring projects. And now the topic which a lot of you have been interested in, so moving to EACEA and the internships. I know that you took part in some internships. Could you tell us what type of internships you took part in and where to find information, how to apply, how to start?
Of course, so thank you, Carol. Thank you to the Eurodesk team for the invitation. I'm glad to be back because Eurodesk will always be a home for me. And the internship that I would like to share with you is the BlueBook internship at the European Commission. And I was one of the BlueBook trainees in March 2022 in the first session of this year. And for example, just to share for those of you who are interested in this kind of opportunity, the BlueBook traineeship is a 5-month paid traineeship. It depends whether you want to do more administrative tasks or if your background is more in translation. Then you could also apply for a translation internship. You can do the BlueBook in the European Commission or European services or agencies. And there are 2 different sessions that you can apply with. So as I was mentioning earlier, I was one of the BlueBooks that started in March. But 3 weeks ago, a new session started. So the second session is in October. And there are more or less like 1,000 trainees per session, but the number of applications is huge. So of course, the competition that you face, it's quite big, but it's not impossible. In my case, it was the second time that I applied and I succeeded. So if you really would like to follow a path in the institutions, this is a very good way to start. And then some eligibility criteria, of course, for starting an internship in the European Commission, you would need to have finished a bachelor's degree of at least 3 years, because it depends on the country that you come from. And of course, you should not have any prior experience of more than 42 days in any European institution, as Grazia was earlier mentioning. You can only do one traineeship in the European institution. So for example, if you do the BlueBook in the Commission, you cannot do the one in the Parliament, or vice versa. And then, of course, one of the key things is that you have a very good knowledge of at least 2 EU official languages. In most of the cases, that's English plus your mother tongue if you're European. But of course, this traineeship is not limited to Europeans. Non-EU citizens can also apply. Sorry. There's no age limit. So if you're also seeking for a change in your professional career, you can always apply. And I personally feel that the more experience you have, the higher chances you have of being pre-selected at least. And one of the key things of the BlueBook traineeship is that if you're not selected the very first time that you apply, you can keep applying. But someone told me back in the days, in the meantime, it's good that you do some other traineeship or that you learn some other language. So all the experiences that the rest of participants have shared, I think, are quite valuable, not only for professional skills, but also for interpersonal and soft skills. And what else can I say? What things that you can include in your application? I mean, of course, professional experiences that you have, but volunteering, I think it's very, very important. For me, what played a key role was my volunteering experience in student organizations. So also my internship in Eurodesk, which for me is very, very important, because it also gave me a huge background on EU youth policy, and I started to be very interested in the topics. So I think that those are the main general ideas. But of course, if you have more questions, feel free to ask me, and I will. I think that I already shared the link, but I will just share the link from the European Commission webpage as well, so you can also have a look, because everything is detailed there. And if not, really feel free to ask me. I'm happy to raise awareness, that I had someone who helped me back in the days to learn more about the traineeship, and I'm eternally grateful for that.
Super. Thank you so much, Ify. Oof, what a day, huh? That was a long day full of opportunities, and together we discover that just the sky is the limit. There's so many opportunities which you can find easily. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you for sharing your experience with us and inspiring so many young people. I really appreciate that. For all of you, also quick reminder, you can always contact Eurodesk multipliers, Eurodesk national offices. You can check on the Eurodesk website where you have some youth workers, youth information workers. Maybe they are in your city, maybe they are in your country, and you can get more information. You can become a member of Europeers network if you already have some experience. If you would like to become a member but you don't have experience yet, then find a project, go for Erasmus, go for volunteering, and get such life-changing experience as Amelia had. Or create solidarity project. Don't forget to take part in our Time to Move competitions, challenges, design a t-shirt, record a video, publish on social media. The prizes are waiting for you. One more time, big thank you to all of you. Sleep well and see you soon.